Recording is on.
Okay, recording is on. So, thank you so much for joining our channel. Please talk about you, how it all started in since your childhood till the present now. Why you choose this current path of your life?
Okay. Well, in a way, I really think of it as a different life because I don't even think of myself as the same
Okay.
person. But basically, I was born in California,
Mhm.
and I always had this kind of, spiritual thing, where I used to go out and just talk to my imaginary friends
Mhm.
all the time. And more often than not, I was with my imaginary friends, which it never even dawned on me to question any of it, that I couldn't see them. And then as I grew up, eventually, all kinds of different things happened. I got into music. I was a musician. Well, I'm still a musician for most of my life. I used to put out records and, tour the world. And I used to work at a celebrity photo agency. I used to work in film and TV, living in Hollywood and all that stuff. And then I got addicted to drugs, and I eventually ended up homeless, living in my car on the streets of Los Angeles. And then I always say that I ran away. I ran away from Los Angeles and I moved to the central coast of California out in the wilderness. And that's where my spiritual journey really kind of took off. And more and more things kind of kept coming to me. And I just kind of followed that path. And I ended up having a near-death experience as well when I was in Los Angeles, and it all kind of led to where I am now. But it seemed like there was that kind of that urge you have inside of you that you have to follow, like it's some kind of a breadcrumb trail that you can't not do. You have to go that way, because I always knew inside of me that there was more than meets the eye, that this world just didn't make any sense to me.
Okay. So, what was the main trigger that pushed you to spirituality? It was near that experience or some kind of depression? Uh, s-
No, I think it's always for me, it's always been something inside of me
okay.
because um as I grew up when I was young, I was born happy. I was born super happy. And it wasn't till later when I met someone who was he's much more connected than like a regular psychic, but he was like, "Well, that's not normal." And I'm like, "Oh, it's not?" So I didn't know that that wasn't normal. So I always kind of had these what I thought were connections, but I never had any confirmation in the world of those things. It was just this thing inside of me that told me that I had to go that way.
Okay. Um, because of course there are several different paths to spirituality. Do you ever went to any kind of church or no?
No, I mean there was
Okay.
at one when I was younger that I was kind of interested in crystals and
Mhm.
things like that, But for me, I didn't follow different traditions. I
Mhm.
didn't follow Indian traditions or really any other paths. It wasn't until I really, I'd read a lot of things, but it wasn't until I really started meeting people who were walk-ins and got into and then eventually I found Neville Goddard, that then there was that recognition that I'm like, "There it is," "Okay, this is what I've been looking for."
Okay. So yes, there are two main paths to spirituality. One from the
Mhm.
books and one from the real life experience. And
Yeah,
your part is real life experience, yes, not from
yeah,
read
and
any book or something. It's really life experience.
yeah, yeah, it wasn't that, like, someone told me what it was. I
Hmm.
was looking confirmation of what I already knew, which I think is actually true for a lot of people, that there's things that we know, but there's no confirmation of them in the world. The world is like, I don't know what you're talking about, what do you mean you think you're multidimensional? But when you find people and you find information that confirms what you knew inside all along, those are like the little connecting dots that tells us that yes, you are right. You do know there is that part of you inside of you that is leading you if you'll just listen to it.
Okay, perfect. This what you are telling me is like some kind of an antenna. You know what antenna is? A radio
Yeah,
antenna. It's completely
right,
neutral, but open to receive any kind of information, any kind of waves. It's like an antenna.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah, we are sending and receiving um, vehicles, if you like,
mhm.
100%.
Okay. So, in your part, what is rebuilding reality? What is some kind of power manifestation? What is this?
Well, it started off me wanting to just share all the things that I knew. And of course, when you are in a situation like that, where you're putting yourself out there all the time, um, because you're doing something like a channel, you have to keep doing it. And you you start to learn so much yourself because you've put yourself in that place where you're open to information.
Mhm.
So what basically happens is that when we go a certain direction or when we decide a certain thing, then life comes along and fills in all the gaps. So if I'm like, I am source, I am the creator, well, if you keep going that way, then life will come in and start giving you the proof. But you have to always go first. You have to make those decisions first, and then life, of course, as your reflection follows you.
Yes, I understand. You have to give the first steps. You
Mm.
have to as a Christian, you have to live in faith. You have to believe without seeing. Yes, you have to believe. Yes.
Well, I think we just have this strong knowing, inside of us, and it's the recognition of that stuff because it is hard for the human character to believe until it actually sees it. But that's why we know that there's more inside of us than just this human character that we're playing in
Yes.
the play
Yes.
of life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what can you do? Or if you help some kind of people, you apply some techniques, some therapy. What you do in reality?
Well, a part of it is giving them an explanation of, like I always like to say, who we really are, why we're here, and how all of this stuff works. So we kind of begin with talking about, like, do we really see reality? Do our senses actually even show us reality? Because when you look it up, they don't at all. Our eyes only see 0.0035% of what's actually there. So far, far less than 1%. And it's exactly the same with all the other senses. We do not see or hear or taste or touch reality whatsoever. What does happen, and psychology and science completely confirms this, is that all the information that comes in from our senses, our mind takes it and completely deletes and edits all of it until it fits our version of reality. And it takes everything else away. So that's why if you can't conceive of something or you don't believe something ahead of time, then for you, it's not going to be true because you're never going to see the evidence of it. But if you keep going a certain direction, like I did, for example, where I'm like, I know this spirituality thing has to be true because it just makes sense. The more I went that direction and looked, the more um, information, the more confirmation I actually got. So it's really stepping back and being like, okay, it's so easy to believe in the world, so easy to believe in our senses. And most everybody does. But when you actually look at the facts, we do not see or hear reality. You know, there was even a Nobel Peace Prize given out in 2022 that confirms that there is no objective or outer reality. And certainly science and quantum physics, more and more every day, are you see articles, I see articles constantly of like, yep, it's pretty much getting to the point where we're all agreeing that this really is a simulation. And when you understand that, the rules of the game change. And that's exactly what Neville Goddard was teaching, is that this place is not what it appears, and the rules that you think apply don't really apply at all.
Okay, so it's a very deep deep reality. But do you think the people that are, how we call it, not awake and not aware, need
Mhm,
to pass through a transformation life process? For example, a massively depression, a near-death experience, because when we live our lives normally, it's like
mhm,
a robot. You know what is a robot is? A robot is like doing automatic things. But
mhm.
the click to the trigger to the awakening, it's very from person to person. It's some kind of experience, personal experience.
Well, okay, so most people think that when we finally get it, when we finally wake up, that there's going to be some event, that something's going to happen that's going to change us forever. You know, because of course we read about people who have Kundalini awakenings. We read about people like Eckhart Tolle and his awakening, and other peoples who had very kind of dramatic or startling wake up calls. But for most people, that doesn't happen. It is just really much more of an acceptance of what is taking place here, that things are not what they seem. Because, like I said, when you have the acceptance, then you begin to get the proof. So for most people, it's just you see it that this whole time you thought you were a human character, you know, playing this part, but then you finally get it that you're not that human character. That's just like a costume you put on, just like who was it? Oh, I can't remember his name. He said, I can't believe I can't remember his name, but you know, he said, all the world's a stage and the men and women merely
Oh,
players.
yeah, no, William Shakespeare.
Yeah, I'm like, why can't I remember William Shakespeare's name? You
Okay.
know, but yeah, and in his writings were profound truths, which of course begs the question, who is he? But this is literally what's happening, and it seems impossible. It seems like that can't be happening. It must be the way I see it. But if we look at not only quantum physics, science, psychology, and spirituality, what spirituality has been saying for thousands of years is that this is all like a dream. It is all Maya. It is all the illusion. And because it's not a solid reality, and even, of course, science has told that for many, many, many years that this is not solid matter, this is all energy. But your senses don't tell you that. Your senses aren't telling you right now that everything around you is vibrating energy. So in the same way, they're not telling you all the other stuff either. So but when we see the common thread that even our reality, even 3D is telling us this isn't real, it's not solid, which helps us finally understand why it is that we can change things. Because that's the real connection here, to go from where you think you are kind of a helpless um, human being who doesn't understand, who doesn't have any power, who's kind of a victim of the world. When you go from that and things switch and you see that what everyone has been talking about really is true, that how you think, how you how you feel, your assumptions and all of these things really do 100% affect your reality. Reality is a response to who you see yourself as, because who you see yourself as, if that is someone who is depressed or anxious or thinks that there's this or that wrong with them, then reality will always agree with you. So that's why change comes when not only we understand that, but when we change ourselves. So if I'm someone and I'm angry or depressed or doing this or that, I know that if I change those things about me, I'm going to get a different response from the universe. So I will literally get a different reality. And that goes not only to your personal self and your personal life, but for all the people in your life. It can apply to them, up to the whole world. That is why you can be the savior of your world, because if you see your world differently, you can literally create a different world. And I've done this myself. I've done this to places that I've gone and visited and literally changed the way I thought of them and had them show up differently. So that is the massive power that is within us, every single one of us right now.
Yes, yes. And you remember, because I don't know if in your country, but in my country, do you remember the pandemic times? 2020,
Hmm.
2021, 2022? And
Hmm.
there was some kind, I feel it, I cannot explain, but I felt an energy of transformation. Many
Right.
people that were sleeping start awakening in the time of pandemic, open to spirituality. They start to see reality from a new perspective, a new way. But do you do you really believe that we need another pandemic event to keep the world together, to give at the same time, like the pandemic of the 2020s, a new perspective of life and reality? Do you think we need another shock like this or no?
Well, to me, when I think of the world and everything that's going on in it, I think of it as the story. It's the story of life. It's the story of human beings, of what is happening in the world, in the human story. So, in that story, when you begin to wake up and see things, your reality also begins to wake up. It's just like when you start thinking, oh, maybe I'll buy a red pickup truck, and you think about the one you're going to buy, and then suddenly you never saw red pickup trucks before, but suddenly you'll start seeing them everywhere. So it's the same kind of thing. Where you are, your outside world will begin to match it. So
Mm-hmm.
the more you wake up, the more duality becomes evident. The more you see it, the more you see the light and the more you see the dark. But the thing is if the dark is that dark, then that means in duality that the light has to be that light. It's just a matter of what are you looking at?
So you think
Now,
it's a
and
matter of choice? It's all just a matter of choice.
absolutely, absolutely it can be. Now, the overall purpose for things like what's taking place now is when you bring in awareness, when you bring in the light, of course, you start seeing all the little things that have been hiding in the dark suddenly become visible. But it is when we have what we see as negative that gives us the opportunity as human beings to show parts of us that we never showed before. So we've been going along, everyone's kind of been for themselves, king of the mountain, dog eat dog kind of attitude. And when it kind of breaks down, it's, for example, I've been through like a number of fires where, one of them I lost like everything I owned. And then when the fire is over, but a lot of times maybe the immediate danger is over and people start getting together, then they're like, wow, how was it for you? Are you okay? How is your place? Did your things survive? And everyone starts coming together on a personal level where you have that shared experience. You know what it means. And you start opening your heart to other people and connecting in a way that we didn't do that before. And that's what big things give people the opportunity to do, to finally open their hearts and understand that we're all a part of one soul. Every single one of us are little pieces of what is essentially one whole soul in of itself. And it's when we really just tear off the the front that we put on for people and are really human and actually reach out to other people and be like, how are you doing? Are you okay? Do you need anything? That those walls come down. And then the greater part of us emerges from that. It gives us a chance to connect and to be our true selves in a way that we didn't have the opportunity to really do that before.
Yes, yes, I feel it. Because in the pandemic time, the people change. At least
Yeah,
they feel to change. But after
yeah,
the
I remember.
pandemic, the things go to the robot again. Like the automatic again, automatic pilot. It's we need
Yes,
more work
everyone goes.
inside, more work inside.
Yeah, everyone goes back on automatic pilot. We just start going back. It's back into the survival program. But I remember the first few days of the pandemic, taking a walk and stuff, and everyone was like, "Hello, hi, how are you doing?" Everyone
Yeah,
was, yeah, it was different, right? Because people were like, "Oh, thank God, I don't have to go to work, or at least I get to work at home." And so it gave people a reason to change, because otherwise it's just the same old thing. So when big things happen, it gives people a reason to tear away that filter and to actually be their true selves, which is when we are exalted, when we're really our true self, then things work.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So thank you so much. For finish, what do you think about artificial intelligence? It's an opportunity or a danger? It's both.
Oh,
Okay.
you mean as far as pandemics, or?
What do you think artificial intelligence will replace all humans? What do you think? It's blessings in disguise or is a drama?
About, I'm sorry, I'm not still not getting. I'm so sorry. The
What do you think
original,
about artificial intelligence? What do you think about it?
about what kind of intelligence?
Artificial intelligence.
Intelligence. Okay. Well,
It's
that is,
an opportunity or a danger?
all of it is what humans want to make of it. Nothing means nothing. There is no meaning to anything. Humans give everything all the meaning it has. It's us who decide this is good, this is bad. We're gonna make it a friend or a foe. We're gonna do this or not do that. It's up to how we want to view it, because everything in the world is a reaction to you. So if you think something's a good thing, for you, it will be a good thing. It's the same thing, like if you think something's going to heal you, it's going to heal you. If you think it's going to kill you, it's going to kill you. What do you personally think about it? How do you see it? Because is, it's your world, your experience is your world, and it's all about how you personally choose to see things that gives you the experience that you have.
Okay. Thank you so much for
You're
joining
welcome.
us and sharing this wisdom. And we in the end, we are all the same. In the end, okay. Yes, in the end, we are all the same thing.
Yeah. Well, it depends on where you're going. Are you going from a smaller scale of separation or from a larger scale of oneness?
Yes.
What's your
Mhm.
perspective?
Okay.
But yeah, thank you so much for having me here. I've
Okay.
really enjoyed being here with you.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing,
All right,
and
you're welcome.
till the next time. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, take care. Bye.